Hello everybody, I'm Roxy and this is Wreck Me BS. This is my summer's highlight trilogy. I'm going to be talking first about all the books that I started and I haven't finished, but it's still not a currently reading because I'm not currently reading them. And I also want to talk a little bit about that. Then the second one is going to be about all the bad books and honorable mentions that I want to talk about, and then I'm going to do like all the 5-star books that I read. Okay, so let's start with January. During January and actually at the end of December, I picked up Gay Berlin by Robert Beatty, and this is the tagline for this is Birthplace of a Modern Identity, and it basically argues that the tag homosexual and the idea of homosexuality as part of a community was born in Berlin, and the like modern idea of homosexuality as something that's not necessarily abnormal or illegal was born in Berlin before the Nazi regime. So it's a very interesting book. I think it's very well documented. It can get a little dry. I would recommend it if you're interested in the topic. It's not super theoretical. If anything, I would say it's more historical than theoretical, which I think it's nice. Then I also started Jane Eyre. I'm on page 329. My edition is 450 pages. No, I'm 59 pages long, so I don't have that much to go. But this book, although I'm enjoying it, and when I'm reading it, I really enjoy it. I don't feel a special connection with any of the characters. Once I put it down, it's very hard to pick it up again because I have like more pressing books that I definitely want to read. But it's very well written, of course, and you know, it's about Jane that's an orphan and she becomes a governess and becomes very interested in this insufferable Mr. Rochester that has a dark secret. But I already knew the plot twist, so I think it's a very substantial book. I think there's a lot in here to analyze, but in terms of like personal enjoyment and connection with the characters, yeah, I don't know. I also have Just My Type, and this is basically a book about typographies. Each chapter is dedicated to a type and I love it. I also started in January The House of Impossible Beauties by Joseph Cassara. I got it to page 54. This is like a fictionalized story of the mother of house extravaganza, the first like all Latino house in the drag scene in New York in the 80s, I want to say. Yeah, 1980. This is very interesting because I love, of course, drag culture and I'm very interested in queer culture, like duh. But the writing is just fine. It has its moments, but it's not like this is the best written book ever. And because I was enjoying it, but I suddenly picked up a book that was like the best book written ever, I kind of fell off track with this one. February, I actually did a TBR, so this is sort of the wrap up for that TBR. I'm going to link the currently reading and February TBR down below. But basically what happened was that I got this book called Villa America, I never know how to pronounce it, based on this, which is a fictionalized account of the marriage between Sarah and Gerald Murphy, who was like a very famous socialite marriage in F. Scott Fitzgerald time, and they had a villa in the French Riviera where like Hemingway and Picasso and all the like famous 1920s lost generation artists went. This book is really bland. It was the first book I picked up for the readathon, my own personal Roaring 20s readathon, and it was disappointing. I almost DNF'd it, but I haven't because this is the part that I have left is the part where the famous people come in. I want to give this another shot, but I'm very pissed off because I had such high hopes for this one. Then I also started The Portable Dorothy Parker. This is a huge book that has her poetry, has her stories that, oh my god, she's she was a genius. Her articles and etc. I dip in and out of it, but I'm really enjoying it because I've loved everything that she has written. I love Dorothy Parker. Okay, then I also started Seurat in Montmartre, Picasso, Matisse, and Modernism in Paris 1900s to 1910. Although it tends to drag in certain parts, this is very interesting. I'm very interested in continuing on with this, but maybe for Nonfiction November, because honestly I have so much to read for uni that I don't see myself reading much historical be nonfiction. Perhaps like things like Just My Type, yes, but other stuff for now I think I'll pass. Then I have 10 There Is a Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald. F. Scott Fitzgerald can write like God. This is inspired by Sarah and Gerald Murphy, and actually it's dedicated to them, the book. And I think maybe Scotty didn't want to be like too harsh, and it's a bit of a kiss ass. It's very well written, but the story itself is very meh. And I don't know, I mean, I'm not that far into it. I've read the 8 pages out of 200 and something, so it might get better, but right now I'm not like over the moon. It's not The Great Gatsby. And then I also sort of picked up, but only read chapter 1 because I had so much to read. But I picked it up because I saw it on my shelves and I was like, oh, I need to read some Virginia Woolf. Night and Day by Virginia Woolf is sort of about children, the young children, and by young I mean like young adult children of this aristocracy in ruins in the early 20th century. I read only chapter 1, but it's so good. Virginia Woolf is such a genius and I love her so much. I want to read everything she ever wrote. So that's it. 9, almost 10. I suck. And this is what I want to talk about. I don't know if you can do this because, for example, my father can't. He wants to start a book and finish it. He doesn't leave books unfinished that he plans on finishing. I mean, if he DNFs it, it's there. And I do understand where that comes from, really. I understand that it might be hard to follow a book if you leave it like halfway, but for example in case of Jane Eyre, I found that when I picked it up in March I enjoyed it so much more, just because I was more in the mood. I went to it already knowing what to expect, so it was weird, but I don't have trouble remembering what all of these are about and what is happening in any of them. I'm very curious to know what do you think about that. Do you do it? That's basically the question, right? Or do you ever just like say not now and then you restart it? Because that is also valid. I'm very curious to know your answer because I didn't used to do it so much. I never thought badly of that, but I didn't do it. It just wasn't in me. But now I can't seem to stop. So please let me know. I'll try to upload all these videos in sequence, so please bear with me. So if you want to check out something, all my social media is down below and you can find me there, and I hope you like this video. And I don't know if you noticed, but my camera is back. It was a memory card problem and I fixed it. So yeah, we're still going strong. So yeah, see you next time. I want to promote my Bookstagram. I created a Bookstagram for myself. It's not just Bookstagram. I do upload like artsy, wannabe photographer pictures. I think you might enjoy it. It's called Popapoxy89 with numbers. I'm still going to link it down below in case you want to check it out. Then I have 2 booktube channels, and I don't know why. Because I know why, because I want to talk about books in English and Spanish. But Karen knows she tried to kill herself with shoe polish, but she's great.